see such people sitting, to see political figures sitting, to see that they were having meetings with politicians to get permissions, authority. It was interesting. Yeah. Cost
Yeah.
at any cost, because, and again, in a restaurant, suppose you're serving 80 covers, so 80 covers, and first करो हर टेबल पे 4 cover है, तो those many tables you're looking into. In a catering, you're serving 80 guests, but the person who's paying you is one. In your case, you're paying me. So I need to also first satisfy you, because you are the first person who's going to come and pay me, and I need to take care of your 80 guests because they are going to come and give you feedback.
Okay.
बट मैं हर एक को
Yeah.
इंडिविजुअली संभालने बैठूंगा तो बहुत मुश्किल होगा. आपको पहले मेरे को संभालने की बताओ क्या क्या करूं इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे.
Which country?
Not a lot, but I've traveled a bit.
Okay.
So I've been to London, of course. I've been to Vietnam. I love going to Thailand for food, not for any other reasons.
I was gonna ask, does your wife know?
I don't want it to be misunderstood here. So yeah, we love going to Thailand.
So I personally admire one trait about anyone, all right? So which is you can be dynamic, adaptable. You have done a lot of things which makes you a jack of most trades, a lot of trades, whatever. And now we have traveled 7 seas to have a word with him, have a chat with him now, which he's gonna tell a lot of things, all right, which is experiences and loads. Don't shy away from sharing anything.
I won't.
Let's see. Yeah.
Welcome.
And yes, and we are right now, thank you very much, we are right now at Purva Gali Cafe, which is East Street. 11 East Street right now. And so I hope you are doing well, Zo.
Very well.
Just give me 1 minute. This is in today's menu, which you are listening and streaming right now. We have 4 segments. We operate in food and culture and hospitality, which you can listen to. We have 4 segments, again, as I said, which are in careers, business journeys, careers in hospitality and stuff. Quarter ke Kissa is one segment which is fun. You can listen to and get to learn what happened when people got high and drunk. And there is food and culture, where we explore a lot of foods and cultures and of different cultures and different cultures across the world, across the states, across the regions. So this is what, if you are interested in, give us a follow on Instagram, and you can listen to us on Spotify and all other audio streaming platforms and YouTube as well. Thank you. Now let's come back to Zo. How are you today right now?
Very well. I'm excellent.
So one question which I ask every guest: क्यों चुनी hospitality?
I have seen hospitality ever since birth. So ever since
So you said your family was into this.
My family is into hospitality.
Okay.
And ever since I remember, I've only seen hospitality around me.
Okay.
Always. So from the moment I woke up to the moment I used to sleep at night, the only thing that used to happen at home was discussions about the hotels or the restaurants or whatever business they were coming up within the realm of hospitality. Always.
Okay. Yeah. Any अच्छा कुछ अलग discussions थे which is worth mentioning, which was an interesting conversation?
No, they usually used to talk about. I mean, we were not exposed to a lot of problems that they were facing at that time. As we grew up, we realized that they used to talk about some issues sometime or the other. But yes, there were names that used to be discussed. They used to discuss challenges. They used to discuss
And it's one
cop
significant
issues.
challenge. Cop issues, all right.
ये सब तो ये सुनने को आता रहता था. Then you would. That was the bad side of it. From the good side of it, we used to hear about celebrities and what we used to. It was common to hear about this person is coming to the restaurant or this person is coming to the hotel, so on and so forth. Like that.
So one significant challenge which you heard when you were growing up within your family with hospitality, with regards to hospitality?
No, there's no challenge I heard, but I saw several challenges within hospitality only. Like I saw my uncle getting behind bars almost for a night. So yeah, things like that we've encountered and seen.
The other side of hospitality.
Yeah.
And so because of that only you got into hospitality, because
no, I didn't get into hospitality because of somebody going behind bars. That's
no,
why I got into hospitality.
Because your family was into this, that's why you got into hospitality.
Yeah, because I didn't know better. This is all I knew. So although I was advised by all of them
to not get
into this, they said please find something more respectable and why
We'll
don't
get to
you
this respectable part. Yeah.
find something more respectable, find something, get a job, they used to say, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to say, why don't you get an administrative job, like an Indian civil service job? And I was like, no man, why should I not enjoy what you gentlemen are enjoying? So that's what
Okay.
probed me into taking this up.
Did you want it to be here, where you are right?
Yeah, I don't see myself complaining. I don't know if I could have done anything else or anything better. I think I'm made for hospitality. Yeah.
You're the first one to say in all of the guest list. You're the first one to say I was made for
Yeah,
hospitality.
I think I was made for
Because
hospitality.
one thing which probably one of our guests had told, I didn't choose hospitality. Hospitality chose me, and because there were such situations, it was going on.
No, I very much I've taken a deep dive into it. I only chose this.
Okay, and so how did you start then? You said about being respectable and stuff, those things. So you started from doing right from the bottom.
Right from first education. So
Hmm.
right at the beginning only, I decided that I would want to study hotel management.
Hmm.
And at that time, from what I know, that Indian Institute of Hotel Management in Aurangabad,
Okay.
which is run by the Taj Group of Hotels,
Hmm.
was, maybe even now, is still the best hospitality institute in the country.
Hmm.
And I wanted to get into that
The other
only.
catering people.
Yes, we can pick a fight on that. But I only wanted to join that college. I was fortunate enough to get in, and that's where I did my course. We were the last course
Okay.
to be passing out with the 3-year batch. After that, it turned into a 4-year course. So yeah.
Okay. And how was it? Any memories from there? Any
Oh,
one some
several
one
memories, so
one
many.
so what I have learned until now about this university thing, all right, it may differ with you.
Hmm.
I know that in hospitality they do teach practical and everything. Do you think that being and getting a degree in hospitality would have which helped you right now, or it would have been better that you would have started it with being on father's side and learning from there?
No, I wouldn't know the other side of it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is to join hospitality without getting a formal education. So I only know this side of it, and I think this side is brilliant because I don't think there is another way. I think this is a better way of doing it. You should
I
get
do.
formal.
I'm not denying it as well. But on the other hand, I learned something in my last 1 year when I was in UK. All right, that if you do something, if you want to do something, now example, Prajwal, he's into this camera and everything. I don't know if he did a course or not or whatever. He has been doing it for like 2 good years and he's getting better at it every day because he's doing it repeatedly.
Correct.
So that's there. So when you get a formal education, of course, I am not gonna start talking about Indian education system right now. Leave that. But when the being practical, theoretical, everything coming in picture, and you are watching everyday things going on streets, which is working, which is going on, that experience is also which is very good. Formality maybe brings some etiquette probably. What do you think on that?
No, I think one should get formally trained
Mm-hmm.
and should get education into what they are going to be following. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in this, and so I felt that it has really helped me. Getting the foundation set was important. And today, you can reach out to your alumni, you can reach out to your
Yeah, that's
batchmates.
yeah, you get a network, of
You get a
course.
network,
Yeah.
and it's just a healthy environment. You stay connected, you get to know who's doing what,
Mm-hmm.
you get to learn so much about hospitality. So yeah, I think it's a I think it's the only way one should go ahead, according to me.
Cool. And once you finish that, what did you do? You joined your father's business.
No, my father at that point of time was already selling his hotel
Oh.
in Bombay,
Okay.
and it wasn't the best time for us. So, and
This was which year?
this was 2006 or 7, and then I already had an appointment from the Marriott Group of Hotels to join them, and I was really looking forward to it. Also, I wasn't against. Nobody was against me. I told you my family wanted me to take up a job, so it wasn't like I should not be taking up a job, and we were very happy about it. I was really looking forward to it. But then we had this particular land available, not to buy, but East Street, this where we are sitting right now, and they're friends of my father, and they said that why don't you open a restaurant if you're looking at opening something here in Pune. And they were from Bombay, we were from Bombay. So I had just part of our curriculum was to design a restaurant on paper.
Nice. Okay.
In year 2, we had to design a restaurant and show the feasibility of it and everything. Like you're literally opening a restaurant project, but on paper. It's a college project. And our college project was, me and my friend, our college project was 11 East Street Cafe. It was named something else in the college project. And so when this land was shown to us, it was very similar to what we want, what my college project was. And so we turned that into a reality. In short. So when my dad came and told me there is an opportunity, would you like to do this?
Just 1 second. If you are someone who has been staying out for a long time, Europe, America, whatever, this is a good place. I liked it. I would recommend you to come in. Please continue.
Yeah, it's not a good place; it's an excellent place. But and so yeah, so we got this opportunity to open this restaurant. The the layout of the restaurant was very similar to what we had designed on paper for the project. And so we made that into a reality, and that was how 11 East Street Cafe was born back in 2007. Now we've finished about 17 years.
Oh, that's great! I saw it. Legacy of 17 years.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, how did you start then? So you designed and you started as manager or what?
No, then of course I
So
didn't.
You have did everything from literally picking up the plates. To
I
like,
still pick up plates. That's not a problem.
No, I'm talking about like learning from there.
Yes. So no, of course, when I started the restaurant, it wasn't that I had to go through the grind of working as a waiter first and then becoming the manager, because I have literally built this restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have to join a restaurant that my father was already running, and then he would say that you start from the beginning. Although I've done a lot of that in the hotel. When we had the hotel, I have gone and cleaned toilets as well, and I'm actually quite proud of it because it instills some sort of
builds you. It builds you. Yeah.
So, but when this restaurant was being made, I'm the one who's made this restaurant. I've sat here and literally designed everything and seen the bricks being laid in front of me. So, so I didn't have to work as a waiter. I was an owner on day one. But being an owner,
that's the most difficult part.
But being an owner of the restaurant, you're almost everything. You got to do everything from if you. Agree. Not anymore, maybe, but at that time, many years ago, you could even pick up a plate or even wash it for the guest if you had to, and you would. And there was nothing to feel shy about.
As an owner, I'm not talking about you in general, but as you, it's excellent thing if you are as a team member, you are flexible in doing everything. It increases your value in general. I personally.
I don't know anymore. Yeah, it's very confusing these days. So many people over the years have come and told me, Jorravar, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. We have staff for it. It doesn't look good. एक ओनर प्लेट उठा रहे हो तो मुझे ऐसा कभी कुछ शर्म नहीं आई एक्चुअली आई डोंट नो
we have this is a very controversial topic, but still we have that thing over here. Back when I have been working in the fine dining now, our manager इतना काम करता था, हमको वो ये कर देता है, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, what shy, he makes us feel shy. Yeah. Because he will do literally everything. Correct. Not toilets and everything. There is a separate team of housekeeping for that.
Correct.
But from picking up plates to clearing everything, he'll do right in front of us.
Exactly.
So that we feel, oh, our manager is doing. What is this? What are we doing? Correct. So that's the thing which we feel.
India में थोड़ा सा शर्म आ जाता लोगों को, but if you go abroad and you see a couple running a restaurant, these small micro restaurants they run, they do everything. They pick up the plates, they clean the table. Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I've done that with my wife. We'll talk about that later maybe.
And in the midst of that, it's not like that it's looked down upon or anything. The moment you keep plates, regardless who you are, the moment you keep plates on the table, right? Thank you very much. Do you everything is fine? I could this and that. They will very warmly talk to you. The guest I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about, the 5-star restaurant, all right?
Correct.
Leave about this McDonald's and everything. Of course. Here's another thing. So here I don't know much because I don't have any experience. But back in over there, if you talk in disrespectful manner to any waiter or any team member, the team will be made aware about that. So, and suppose you are a guest, not you, I'm talking in general, if you are a guest, if you are disrespecting the team member, whole team will know, the manager will also know that this guest has disrespected this team member. And after that, then the message will pass on. And this customer will be taken care of, that if he disrespects more, the manager will come in and just say, sir, I will need to ask you to leave. It's that thing. So it's that regardless who you are respected in that premises. And if you still go and go, no, I'm not going to leave, then they'll call the cops.
Nice.
So it's that good and that well. And then you understand why a lot of people want to work in UK's hospitality or in general Europe's hospitality, because that is there. And regardless, they don't shout, they don't tell you. That's the culture over there. And so, what you told about picking up plates and everything, what was the hard part for you in building this up, East Street Cafe,
No, there's never
or
been
in
a
general?
never a hard part. Honestly, there's never been a hard part. I'm blessed. Everything has always fallen
You
in place.
haven't you hit any rock bottoms anytime?
Several times, but that's part and parcel of life. Rock bottom is part of life. You keep hitting
Yeah.
it, you keep rising, keep hitting, you keep rising. That's all
Any
right.
rock bottom you wanna mention once this had happened, and how did you picked up yourself from there?
I walked out of this. I had to walk out of this restaurant also in about 2000 post COVID.
Okay.
2020,
Mm-hmm.
when the restaurants were reopening after the first wave,
Mm-hmm.
is when I had decided to leave 11 Street Cafe as an owner,
Mm.
and I disentangled myself from everything here, right from the finances
Mm.
to even a signing authority. I was not part of this restaurant anymore, and that's when I started something of my own entirely.
Mm.
And so you can call it a rock bottom, or you can call it a launch pad. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened then.
Mm.
And then I opened another business,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course things, uh, as they always do, fall in place, and then I'm back here again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When we were talking before, you told me that you have worked from fine dining to bar. Let's
Yeah.
start with that series.
Not from fine dining to
No,
bar.
I'm saying those chain that cafes and everything.
So 11 Street Cafe, when we opened it at that time, in 2007,
Hmm?
the word cafe was not so prevalently
Prevalent.
used only for a coffee bar.
Okay.
Coffee wasn't even a big thing then.
No.
Coffee is a very big thing now.
Now.
That time, a cafe meant a restaurant which can also serve alcohol, just like we know Hard Rock Cafe,
Mm.
and that's how the word cafe was planned then.
Mm.
Today, it's misleading. Today, a cafe usually means a place that is only selling coffee or
Okay.
not selling alcohol per
Mhm.
se. I don't know. So now we are in the process of maybe renaming it or changing a few words here and there.
Mm.
But so that's how we started. But on day one, we had liquor in our restaurant. I didn't
Mm.
want to open this restaurant without even a single day without having alcohol. I didn't want the guest to be confused कि एक दिन है और फिर उनको वापस बोलो कि अभी
Mhm.
थोड़े दिनों के बाद आएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. So we started it with alcohol. We had to wait for a while to get the license.
Mm.
That was the first restaurant,
Mhm.
which is 11 Street Cafe.
Mhm.
Then we opened a dhaba,
Mhm.
which was Tim Luck Luck.
Mhm.
In
That is going on right
that is still going on. That's my uncle's now.
Mhm.
We opened that together as a joint. I mean, when the company was owned by all of us,
Mhm.
we opened that in Pimple Saudagar. That
Okay.
area then was very, very unknown, very remote.
Okay.
Now it's a extremely populated and a famous area. That time it was quite remote, and especially where a restaurant was very remote.
Mhm.
So building a restaurant from scratch there also was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And we opened Tim Luck Luck. In between, I have opened a small brand called Donut Run that used to do donuts
Mhm.
in Inox cinemas. We had a kiosk. We
Oh, that
opened
mall which you told me, right?
in Inox. The
Ah,
mall is Zora Restaurant.
Okay, Zora.
We opened a fine dining restaurant and bar
Mm.
that was called
In
Zora
the mall.
in the mall.
Hmm.
That was yeah, and along with that, we opened a banquet there by the name of Opus.
Mhm.
And
In the mall itself.
in the mall itself.
Hmm.
2013, we were also the suppliers, the vendor rather,
Hmm.
to all the baristas, all the Coffee Day Express,
Mhm.
and even Costa Coffee in
Mhm.
Pune. We were supplying all the food. So our kitchen was the kitchen that used to make all the products, food
Mhm.
products, and we used to supply to them.
Hmm.
That was in 2013.
Hmm.
And Crazy Balls, we opened a sports bar.
Hmm.
That was also in Bombay.
Hmm.
And then we got an opportunity to open it in Pune as well.
Hmm.
Now that is a banquet hall.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything.
You told Opus, right?
Opus, that was a banquet, yes.
Yeah. And Donut Bar.
Donut Run.
So, was all of these being run at the same time, or what
No,
was
no,
this?
all was in different phases. Through this entire tenure, 11 East Street Cafe
Has constant.
has been constant.
Hmm.
Others have been on and off.
Hmm.
The industrial supplies stopped because Costa Coffee shut down in Pune, and barista chain was seeing decline.
When was this? 20?
I was supplying in 2013
Okay.
or 12. I don't have a timeline very clearly, but yeah, around that time we were supplying, and that's when they were seeing a decline. And so we had to, it was not sustainable to run this business anymore, and it was anyways a little low margin business, so I didn't want to get more clients also. So we shut down that vertical.
The vendor one, the supplier one.
The supplier one.
Okay.
Inox Cinemas at that time was restructuring their cafeteria or their food supply. So they, I think at some point, didn't want an outside vendor.
Okay.
So we didn't. Then we withdrew
This
from
is only
Donut.
you're talking about vendorship.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is no, even Donut Run as a brand. Then we didn't want to open a standalone brand of Donut Run. It was anyways just happening for Inox Cinemas only.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, Zora was a very, very successful restaurant, and I feel
It was fine dining. Right?
fine dining
What
restaurant
were
and
you,
bar.
what standards did you keep there? I'll tell you a standard and example. In Peshawari, if you go, right, you know Peshawari.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have you experienced Peshawari?
Yes, I have.
So tell me now. Like, did you had your standards like that or any different things?
No, there was no restaurant like Zora in Pune.
Mhm.
There was never a restaurant in Zora in Pune, and till date, I have found very few restaurants to be a standalone restaurant to be on the lines of what Zora was in Pune. It was a class apart, but the reason that we saw it not succeeding commercially is because the mall it was situated in had no footfall.
Oh, yeah.
And they had promised a lot of things, that they will have footfall and they will do things, and there was a cinema that was supposed to open, but they couldn't, they didn't. And
But
for,
they couldn't, they didn't.
and for how long will you sustain a restaurant on
Hmm.
your own merit, wanting people to come there in a mall, on a street, or on an or even an accessible mall? It is still okay. That mall was also a little far off. It had an approach issue, and so it was difficult to sustain. It was tedious. We can't expect the guest to love the food so much that he's going to come, find the place, then go park, then walk
You
a
need to
long
reduce the
distance.
resistance as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And then if he is coming, or he or she is coming, then they have to have a lot of things for them to then come and dine. There should be a cinema, there should be a lot of retail happening, there should be good stores that prompt them to come. That wasn't the case. So the restaurant had to shut down. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't being sustainable enough for you to do so.
Correct.
So
That restaurant anywhere else would have been, I'm presuming, very successful commercially.
I personally don't have fine dining experience that much, but if it was Inox over there, for sure.
Yeah, Inox or any other good cinema also
Yeah.
would have done good for us.
So your family was into this, you said. How did it help you in any like learning and everything?
Yeah, even today, a lot of decisions
Hmm.
that I need to take, it's easier to take those decisions, because I have people in my family with a lot of experience. So when something critical needs to be decided, we sit together, we discuss. Even small things we sit together and discuss, but critically, it really helps when you need to make big decisions, to have their experience and to have their knowledge helps a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. It would be fun, man.
Yeah,
To,
it
like,
is.
actually, yeah. How did your father play a role in all of this in helping you learn?
We work together, and when a father and son work together, there ought to be certain differences and different ways of thinking. But personally, we both know that there is a lot to get from the other person, and so you let your differences rest or pause to get the best out of the other person. And in this case, it applies more to me, because I have a lot more to gain from somebody with that sort of experience. He's run a hotel, and he has run a hotel like
For decades.
Yeah, I mean 20-30 years ago he had a hotel, and at that time to own a hotel is not easy. So his experience is profound. So it helps a lot to learn, to share.
Once what happened? Do you have any experience or any story once what happened which you remember remarkably in your memories with your father?
No, see, my father's PR even today is something that very few can hold a candle to. I don't know how he manages it and how he uh, is so gifted in getting this right. So he was the first person to come up with RV vans. So
What's RV vans?
these vans that today every celebrity has their own van. Rather, they have either bought vans or producers vanity vans,
Oh, vanity
or they
vans.
need
Okay.
to
Mm-hmm.
lease these vans
Mm-hmm.
for the sets, so the celebrities can change,
Mm-hmm.
rehearse, or eat their meals.
Mm.
So you keep hearing about vanity vans now.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That time, many years ago, producers didn't have their own vanity vans, or celebrities didn't have their own vanity vans. So my father came up with the concept of making these vanity vans,
Mm-hmm.
which producers would hire from him,
Oh, nice.
lease for him for the celebrities.
Mm.
So it was interesting to hear names like आज सनी देओल के पास जा रहा है वैन, आज शाहरुख खान के पास जा रहा है वैन, and it was very interesting to hear that. And when he launched these vans, I remember he had launched them with Jackie Shroff,
Okay.
with Ravi Shastri, with Pooja Bhatt, and I think with Sushmita Sen.
Okay.
So these four people had launched, these four celebrities had launched the business for him. So it's very glamorous to see this happening, right? And it's very interesting to see this. And now, so many years later, you just think that कैसे किया होगा यार, मतलब आज तो because of Insta and everything, celebrities तो are like popping up on your feed every second, so that it seems like you know them, but at that time they were distant. They were a little, you're
Yeah, you
trying to
need
understand.
connections or
You
network
need
to get there.
connections,
Yeah.
network. They're a reverent figure. इतना easy नहीं है to just have them launch a business for you, but they did. So those sort of instances were very. I'm not so easily celebrity stricken. ऐसा नहीं है. Most people in Bombay you would see are not, because दिख जाते हैं यहाँ वहाँ, तो you are not like, oh shit, ये दिख रहा है अब तुमको यार, वाओ यार, ऐसा इतना नहीं होता है usually. But मैं childhood से देख रहा था ये. So this was the glamorous bit of it, and that's not why I got into hospitality. That's definitely not why I got into it. But ये चीज़ interesting थी, to see such people sitting, to see political figures sitting, to see that they were having meetings with politicians to get permissions, authority. It was interesting. Yeah.
And so you told that this you had a project, and that's why you came up with 11 East Street Cafe.
Yeah.
So, and then in this, when you told about I asked you about the sports bar dynamics as well. But how did you think of like अपना कुछ करते हैं apart from 11 East Street as well?
That was 2020 when I said we need to do something of our own. That became my independent business. COVID
okay,
तो
just before that thing, how do dynamics or situations work in sports bar? फर्क क्या होता है normal sports bar में और bar में, and how does it run?
Normal bar can be anything. It can be just a bar that has
people are coming
now. It's upon you what sort of theme you want to create, or what sort of restaurant you want to create for them to visit your restaurant. Like ours is a London themed restaurant, but every restaurant or bar need not be a themed pub. It can just be an Irish pub. It can be a regular restaurant with just tables and chairs laid with no particular ambience per se, just a regular place. I am more prone to themed restaurants. I like going to a restaurant with a particular theme or a particular concept. I like it. Difference between a regular bar and a sports bar is that sports bar is meant to have these activities apart from just screening, apart from 4 or 5 screens that are going to screen the sports for you. You're also meant to have probably a pool table or a snooker table or a foosball table. We also had a basketball hoop. We were a small sports bar, but now there are bowling alleys and there are video game arcades. And
we
stuff
see
like
it. I don't see it over here very common, but yeah, in England it's common, very common.
Yeah.
So how does the dynamics work in sports bar? Like how is it running a sports bar?
It's great. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Where did you had it, and in what span?
In this premises itself, we have a there is a banquet. That's a banquet hall now, which my uncle runs. We had a split in the business, so that went to my uncle, and that then became a banquet. But that in that very small space, we had a sports bar. Yeah.
Cricket or football?
No, screening was happening of everything, but we had like 3 pool tables. We had a
nice.
foosball table, and we had one row of tables where people could come and dine and drink. And your menu is also then designed around sports. A lot of pitchers are sold, a lot of beer happens, wings happen, stuff like that.
I'll show you Manchester ka this thing. So there is this one Circus Tavern which is in Manchester, which is of course United is like a big deal in Manchester. It is. So I saw a bar over there, which is smallest bar, like really small bar, only this much, which we are sitting over here, and two to three rooms, and it's driven by Manchester United fans. It's
Amazing.
Circus Taveran. I'll show you the pictures later. I'll put it over here as well. It's very interesting. It has seen a lot of Manchester United people coming in, sitting at the beer bar, drinking and everything. The that draft and everything. This much only. That's it. All other are tables, and it's very interesting. All the pictures and everything from first to last, whatever United has won, the sad moments, all of the pictures are
On the
there.
wall, huh? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
everything. So, and these people who are huge fans and everything, they have came, sat, and then imagine the bar when United might be playing.
Correct.
And as a matter of fact, it's in Manchester. The stadium is like very close.
Okay. Nice.
It's very crazy when the matches happen. Coming back to the sports thing, where I was just saying, sorry, what were you saying about sports thing? Yeah, the theme and everything. Now, what in all of this which you started, what you wish you should have known before you started? कि अगर ये बात पता होती ना पहले तो सही होता और कुछ अच्छा हो जाता.
सही तो सब हुआ है, बट आई फील कि अगर मैं सीधा कॉलेज से निकल के बिजनेस नहीं स्टार्ट करता इमीडिएटली और कहीं कुछ एक जॉब कर लेता फॉर अबाउट मे बी 1 or 2 years, then I feel that I would have made a better network. Although you make a great network when you're doing your own business, but I think I would have made a more grounded network, and with the hospitality group, which today can help me a lot. And B, I would have gained a lot of experience from the other side of it. By being an employee, I would have gained a lot of experience, which then I could have imparted onto the people who worked for me. So I think that's where I missed out, and that's the only thing where I feel that ये अगर होता तो would have been better for me.
Okay. And in now you have traveled, you said. I know a bit about UK's hospitality. Do you see how different do you see UK's and Indian hospitality's landscape?
See, you have been praising UK hospitality a lot. Yeah. You seem to have converted, but we feel that Asian hospitality is one of the best hospitality you can come
now
across.
Personally, I'll tell you one thing though. I have seen workers working around in your small restaurant or usual restaurant. I haven't seen them working in Oberoi's or anything. Of course, there might be a lot of training and everything. You not easily people get over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that I haven't experienced that hospitality or working, but yeah,
I feel that the hospitality that our country and our continent has to offer is exceptional. It's very good. Of course, there are.
What aspect are you talking about? Are you talking about Oberoi's and Marriott's, or like what? Or
no, I'm not just talking about Oberoi's and Marriott's, or Taj rather. Taj is what I swear by. But I'm also talking about standalone restaurants. I'm also talking about boutique hotels, stuff like that. You just generally, we are warm people. Indians we are warm people. We are by default hospitable.
This is coming from someone who is in hospitality already.
Yeah, I feel and I feel that बचपन से हमको we are doctrined into believing that guests are special. भगवान होते हैं, उनको अच्छे से ट्रीट करना चाहिए घर पे जब आते हैं. तो this then also applies to your business, and most people do serve and go out of their way, and those who don't, who have a pompous attitude, I don't think will sustain, or I don't think will run very well in the long term in our country at least. I feel so. Yeah.
So what's the major differences in various aspects you see in case of anything,
I just feel that we are a very warm, we come from a very warm side of hospitality. I think it's more approachable. I think it's easier to tell somebody, yaar ye maza nahi aa raha, can you do something about it? And they probably will want to do something about it. Ye to tum bol hi nahi paoge. I think UK mein, I don't know. I was once not very happy with the dish, and I was like, can you change this? And the response I got was that I'd rather be shot. So that,
seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Where was this?
I don't remember the
In
restaurant.
London?
I don't remember the restaurant, but yeah, this was a frequent issue where you could not identify a complaint with the particular dish.
See, okay, this is the first time I'm listening something from you, because at least where I have been working, Udhar, if you say something like this, the next second the dish goes into the kitchen, new dish comes out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Maybe when you went, those times might be different.
It's possible. See, I have been to UK, not very long ago also, but now it seems like 11-12 years is a long time. Yeah.
All right. What are the common mistakes you think Indian hospitality is doing from your perspective, which can be fixed?
The common mistakes that Indian hospitality, I don't know, but the common mistake that generally happening is that everybody thinks this is a very easy industry
It is not.
and
It
सब आ
is.
जाते हैं.
अभी मैं बोल नहीं सकता some words, but it is not.
And everybody thinks it's a very easy industry. Everybody finds it very glamorous.
हाँ.
Everybody thinks यार मेरा रेस्टोरेंट होगा, मेरा वर्क चलेगा, ऐसे 4
हम्म.
लोग आके पूछेंगे मेरा टेबल, my bar, my alcohol,
हम्म.
खाना रोज घर पे आ सकता है.
एक
And
बार
all
बस
that I know.
लाइसेंस निकाल के दिखाओ महाराष्ट्र में
हाँ,
बस
तो yeah.
अल्कोहल वाला.
So yeah, all these things are what seems so glamorous is not.
No,
What
it is.
seems
I wouldn't deny that it is, but there is other side of the coin as well to that. These
yeah.
are two things
Yes,
together
yes,
bound.
yes. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's a very see, no business is easy according to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're anyways going to choose business, that means you're anyways now going to be choosing some part of a difficult life. Then this is a very high level of difficulty. I think you can go in for something which is more, I don't know, simpler.
Okay. In with regards to the Indian hospitality thing, a lot of people like you have talked to me about food aggregators, how they have changed the landscape and everything, how they have habituated people with discounts and everything. What do you think about food aggregators coming into the picture? How it was before and how it is now? What are the changing things, or how they have affected nicely and badly? Of course, when my university friends and us, when we talk, right, in case of UK we say it's very not so very convenient, but in India we have this one line with us that in India convenience is at your fingertips.
Yeah,
But
India.
That's not the case in UK. It's like a bit थोड़ा चलता रहता है आगे पीछे.
I feel India is very advanced with convenience now.
Yeah.
Everything
Very
and
much.
anything that you require is at your fingertips. So I think from that perspective, it's become very good as a consumer. And if you're going to be asking from an industry standard or industry point of view, ये सबका अपना इंडिविजुअल तरीका होता है इसको देखने का और गेज करने का. But even when Zomato was launching back in the day, I as a restaurateur was very prone to what was happening, and I could see that this is something which is going to be very good. It's going to be revolutionary. Of course, the discounting came much later, and the discounting is a curse. I mean, discounting shouldn't happen, and discounting has become the main forte, I would say, for those platforms apart from delivery. So discounting is a problem because you're just discounting your entire business, right? And then it's always always in a dilemma to join this race or to stay away from it. If you're away from it, you got to be very, very exclusive. And if you're joining the game, then you have become a discounted restaurant. So we are there, but we are minimally there. We don't want to be full on a discounted restaurant, and we don't want to be away from it. We want to also be approachable to the consumer, because I think it's easier. It becomes easier today when we are choosing a restaurant and we see even a 10% discount, it makes us happy, and then we are prone to choosing that restaurant. So from
but it's not so very good for the serving people, right, where you are just giving discount like that.
Yeah, that's what. So discounting I think is the only discounting is one of the bad things that came out of it. But the good thing is that we get to know about restaurants on your fingertips. Now you have access to so many restaurants that you can go to. It's easier for a new restaurant today to get established pretty soon. And in that aspect, I think it's been very helpful. And as far as delivery is concerned, yes, they take a lot of commission and all that. But then look at the service, look at the convenience that you don't have to hire, from a restaurant perspective, you don't have to hire a rider. You don't have to get into bikes. You don't have to get into insurance of these bikes and the riders. You don't have to worry about if something happens to the rider on the way, what all is going to happen to you, because our
we already have a lot of headaches.
Because one accident or one wrong thing can lead to so many complications for you as a businessman, from the rider's perspective, from his family's perspective, from किसी को ठोक दिया तो अभी उसका क्या होगा, उनकी गाड़ी का क्या होगा. अब ये सारी चीजों को तो हमसे बाहर कर दिया ना. अभी इसका अगर कमीशन ले रहे हैं वो, not just these headaches but also giving us a steady stream of business, I mean, then why not? It's a small price to pay.
You told me a good side about this, because I wasn't so very familiar with this one, because I was thinking okay, these guys are just there to like loot you guys.
हाँ, because most restaurateurs also talk like that now. They can't do without it also. They want it, but they also want to crib about it. They want to keep saying 30% ले लेते हैं, 25% लेते हैं, 35 ले
28
लेते
ले
हैं. तो
लेते हैं, 42 ले
जो
लेते
दे
हैं.
रहे हैं वो सर्विस तो दे रहे हैं तुमको. Constant your phone and your app is buzzing
Yeah.
with orders. It's so difficult today to reach out to consumers yourself. We used to make takeaway menus, send it to people, फिर order आएगा, फिर वो rider को बुलाओ, फिर वो बैठेगा, फिर जाएगा, फिर कभी ठोक देगा तो क्या होगा, as I told you, वो सब चला गया है अभी.
It's a thing, huh? I have seen this in UK's hospitality. Not these guys, but it's different. But I experienced the pressure second hand right in front of me. 3 aggregators. I just eat food and 2 or 3 more. The restaurant, food truck or whatever has 3 things. Boy, the P cars are crazy. ऐसे 10 टिकट आए हुए हैं यहाँ पे, 5 टिकट यहाँ है, 2 टिकट यहाँ है. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
So
And it's just so systematic.
Yeah,
order
it's
bus होता है,
systematic.
वहाँ पे सब instructions लिखे होते हैं, payments come on time, the riders are coming here in 10
waiting,
minutes.
they go like, अरे कितना देर करते हैं, and that's another thing. But in all of this, luckily they had a good thing. But in all of this, one major problem which the still hospitality faces, I've discussed this with you. What do you think can be done with the attrition rate? People who don't know, attrition rate is people coming in and joining your business, any employees, waiters, chefs or anything, and they leaving them maybe the second day or whatever.
Or soon.
Yeah. So how have you faced the problem of attrition? What are your problems and what do you think in general can be done to fix that?
Attrition is a permanent problem. It's not that this is
this. I feel I was talking to Yeti and the Monk's owner yesterday as well. I told him this. He told me this one thing that this has been happening, and this is a problem. If someone can solve it, well and good. But he told me now Yeti and the Monk is a Southeast Asian restaurant, all right, where you're operating over there. It's like you need to know what is thukpa, what is ramen, and all of this. You need to come take the staff and you to train them.
Correct.
If they leave after 1 month,
yeah, all your effort is gone.
Yeah, and that's one thing. But they have faced such issues, and in all of this also, they have got some like people working for them. हाँ मेरे को इधर से इतना मिल रहा है, मैं निकल रहा हूँ. And they go.
Yeah.
After 2 months, they call back. क्या मैं वापस आ सकता हूँ?
Yeah, all that happens.
Yeah.
That's absolutely.
This is a thing which is going on the streets right now. What do you think? Like please share your experience as well.
This is permanent. This problem I don't think will ever go away. More players will open in the business, will come into the business. There will be more demand for employees. Thereby, employees will always be in a stronger position to hop, skip and jump or make choices that suit them more. तो ये तो होने वाला है unless your business is in such a place where there are lesser players to operate. If you're going and opening a hotel or a restaurant in a lesser populated area where there are not so many restaurants, then you will make a better choice. You are giving a job to somebody, you will be at a higher position in terms of you'll have leverage. But here in a city like Pune or in Mumbai, Bangalore, so on and so forth, there is a restaurant opening every few minutes.
Yeah.
And in this case, there are going to be multiple offers. तो छोड़ के जाएंगे ही. अब you need to form certain systems, certain processes, certain facilities that they stay with you, that they see that we are more comfortable here. And every time, money is not the perk. It's not कि तुम उनको for example दे रहे हो 20,000 रुपए और कोई दे रहा है 21,000 रुपए तो switch कर देगा. कभी-कभी 25,000 पे भी नहीं switch करते. Because you need
कभी 200 पे भी
switch करते हैं. But you need to have a certain culture in place where they feel comfortable कि मैं I'm taken care of here. और घर जैसा एक atmosphere हो जाता है.
मजा आता है काम करने में.
हाँ, how the owner treats or how the manager treats, certain facilities they get. अगर payment पहले से चाहिए, कुछ advances चाहिए, खाना क्या खाने को मिलता है, insurances are in place or not for them, are their families taken care of by us, are they staying in a reasonable place, are they comfortable with where they're staying, accommodation plays a big role, are they getting good food to eat, I think I mentioned that, are they getting a good uniform to wear, it also, and they also know where they're working, is it important for us, is it good for your resume. So when these things happen, then certain people choose to stick with you because they find all this as a perk, and then they stick with you. And certain people don't see it. They will go to any new restaurant opening tomorrow, or even a very lesser known restaurant because they've got a better job and because that's what they're looking for. So सबका अपना-अपना होता है.
My 2 cents on this, how much I have learned and interacted with people, all right. There are three places which I have seen and through videos or interacted with these people, which I found an exception. What you told, those are the things which I have done. Dorabjis, you might know.
Yeah.
So Darius, I have interacted with him. So I asked him when we were talking like this that why are these people with you since you started, or when your grandfather was operating and he's operating now, he's the grandson and everything. They have been doing this, and the people who they started with from first, they are still there right now. Of course, he's a Parsi, and when you saw that temple kind of thing where you keep all gods are there over there, right? And that is the environment which they have been working over there for 20, 17, 25 years. They didn't leave. That's one thing. Another one which I saw was Saravana Bhavan, which recently it has expanded in a lot of countries. I don't know if you know that.
No.
So Saravana Bhavan, I don't remember the name exactly. That's one thing. Now this guy, he recently passed away. This guy, he had the same attrition rate. So, but what he did was he provided crazy benefits to his employees that they didn't want to leave.
Correct.
And that benefits was to such an extent where आपके दो बच्चों का education वो करेंगे, company करेगी.
Correct.
Imagine now, would you leave?
Exactly.
And the last one is right now is Santosh Bakery. Same situation where right now it's the second or third generation operating of Santosh Bakery, and those workers are from 1960s, 70s, 80s. They're still working. And I don't know if you know Santosh Bakery or not. Mayur, who is operating, he starts the bakery at 5. He turns on that heater and everything, and that all those things, and then he operates and he cooks, and then the bakery opens from 7:38.
Wow.
And then it's still the same process, all right, no machinery, nothing, same process which he operates, and he works himself as well alongside the workers as well.
That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah,
and
makes a very big difference.
That's the thing, and they have been there for a long time. And it's the same thing. COVID jab hua tha, these guys took care of these employees and vice versa.
Correct.
I think this is what something makes a big difference. Now I agree. A lot of owners maybe in the comments or later on tell me, they don't listen to you. They show you attitude and this and that. There might be exceptions, no doubt.
Of course, when you go and buy eggs, also you will get 1 or 2 rotten eggs, right?
Yeah,
that's how it is. Hamisha, you will not get something to your liking. You get to learn, and you get to move ahead with the best of what you can find. Yeah.
So you have traveled. Where you have traveled a lot? Like you told me, you have traveled a lot. Which country?
Not a lot, but I've traveled a bit.
Okay.
So I've been to London, of course. I've been to Vietnam. I love going to Thailand for food, not for any other reasons.
I was gonna ask, does your wife know?
I don't want it to be misunderstood here. So yeah, we love going to Thailand, and I've been to Spain. We went to Morocco recently. It was excellent. We went to Azerbaijan recently. That was also very good. Dubai, of course. Yeah. So
unki hospitality mein some picking up points.
The best place in terms of how good people are to you is Turkey.
Okay.
Which is
that's why this year Turkey and Egypt have got major tourism.
Turkey is exceptional. The people are very good, and the best people I have found is Morocco, where the people are just and they love Indians. They love Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay.
And for them, when they meet you,
Morocco is in African continent.
Yes. Yeah. And when they meet you, everybody knows Shah Rukh Khan there, by the way. And when they meet you, they address you as you're coming from the land of Shah Rukh Khan, and they treat you well. You literally feel like you're a guest in their country because you come from the land of Shah Rukh Khan. That much of respect you're given only because you are from the same country as of Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay.
And they are crazy with the way they treat you, with the way they talk to you. And maybe lesser Indians have gone to Morocco, so they see us as you can see their eyes twinkling when they see an Indian. Literally, there are people who wanted to come and talk to us. Please tell us about your country. Please tell us about where does Shah Rukh Khan stay? How far are you from Shah Rukh Khan? Things like that. It's amazing.
Okay. So this Azerbaijan, Vietnam are lesser known countries, at least for me in case of hospitality. How does their hospitality operate or work?
Azerbaijan is recently getting a lot of popularity, like Baku is, for the wrong reasons.
Oh, wrong reasons. Okay.
Yeah, but it's meant to be a place famous for boys trips. But again, I've gone there with my wife, and I don't know
I
what
love
is.
the clarity. I am going there with my
It's
wife.
important to state all this, and I don't know what boys trips are happening over there. I don't know because I didn't come across this. But as a tourist, from a family point of view, it's a great place to be. What weather, and it's a mix of so many cultures. It's the middle of Asia and Europe, so it's, and also a lot of Russian influence there. It is
Okay,
crazy. It's a really
Have you
really.
been to Moscow or Kremlin? Or?
No, I've not yet been to Russia,
Mhm.
but it's an amazing place.
Okay.
Small, Baku so small. Like we were almost roaming the same streets every day. We were there for 4 days, and good stuff here, good stuff. But as I told you, answering your question, we've never come across better people than what we saw in Morocco.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think of Vietnam?
Great.
I'm very sympathetic to Vietnam. I'm a history
Because of the
enthusiast.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's first thing. And I feel so good about one thing of theirs, that they were also split like Korea in north and south, and they somehow came together.
Yeah.
I feel very grateful that happened in that case, because that is helping them progress now. It's one of the good going economies in Russia.
Correct.
Asia.
Asia.
Yeah. And you told Morocco. What's one of the not so very good experiences you had while traveling in case of hospitality?
Oh no, I got robbed in Malaysia, and whenever somebody gets robbed, that country only becomes blacklisted for you. For most, I think. So yeah, that was a very bad experience. I got robbed right outside the money exchange,
Oh, shit,
and
man.
in a very deceitful manner. It wasn't just a simple rob कि यार अभी मेरे को बुरा लगना चाहिए. वहाँ के किसी ने मेरे को, they banged a trolley into me, and then as soon as they banged, one person came and started rubbing my leg to say I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh.
And later on I realized it was a process to numb my leg, and then somebody, it was like a cartel. It was a group of people who were doing this, and then they took the money away from my pocket, and they all left. And when I walked towards the
You are
exchange and
alone?
I removed my money,
You're
I was alone. My money was gone. So
Shit,
that was a way of doing it. And
Any tips if something happens? What do you do?
oh yeah, tip when you're traveling is
No. If such shit happens with you,
हाँ.
how do you do? Like, how do you cope up, or what can you do? In such
कुछ
cases?
नहीं, have a drink. There's no option. Have a
What
drink.
did you do? How did
Enjoy
you
your
do?
trip. Forget about it because you spent so much money in getting there.
Hmm.
That now it's going to be just awful to crib about it or to feel the pain. Enjoy, celebrate. Then money will come back.
How
As long as what is gone is affordable enough for you to bring it back.
Yeah. What Indian hospitality can learn from these countries which you have traveled? Was Spain good enough? I have heard a lot good about Spain.
Spain was good, very good.
Okay. What can Indian hospitality learn from these hospitalities? Adapt और कुछ अच्छा कर सकते हैं?
देखो पहले I would say that we are far behind in terms of offering of food and cuisines and professional setups, and restaurants were not international level. But today, maybe not so much in Pune, and I don't mean any offense to our city. It's beautiful and it's really growing, and the food scene is getting bigger and better. But if you go to Bombay and you go to the established restaurants, they are international level. These restaurants have reached a stage where you can go and dine in few restaurants in Dubai, and you can go and dine in few restaurants in India, and they're almost at par. In Mumbai, they're almost at par. So in terms of the staff, in terms of the ingredients, in terms of the menu and the food and the quality of food that you're having, some restaurants are just out there. They're hitting it out of the park. And so we don't need to learn so much per se, because our own restaurants in our own cities have really evolved and are really taking the food scene.
Kudos to the people who have maintained it. Both of them.
Yeah.
I forgot I was telling you something about this Pune thing. Yeah. So in UK, at least what I have known, that this is something I have observed in or international levels. These restaurants which are being operated, right? Those are being operated by big chains. I don't know if you might have heard of these names, Mitchells and Butlers, and Marriott is very famous, and all of these things. So Marriott is doing very strategic thing, where there are different segments to cater, right? In case of hotels or restaurants and everything,
Right.
Each street is for someone. At least I am your guest, audience. Where I have come back and I want this experience or something. So
Correct.
Marriott is doing this one good thing, that they are getting into various segments to offer to cater to various segments.
Correct.
Where there is Moxie,
Correct.
They are giving it to office people who want to take 1 or 2 trips like that. Then they're getting in stock exchanges where I have been there. So they have that restaurant which is very old, which has a history, and people want to live in such restaurants or hotels for 1 or 2 to experience that feeling.
Correct.
So that is what Marriott is doing, partnering with such restaurants. It's the
Correct.
same. So when these big chains have been operating, they have different restaurants, like how we have cafe coffee day or Starbucks. That is how they operate. So 90% of or majority of UK's hospitality is made up of these restaurants, and that's why they have set standards.
Correct.
But in India, if you see that they do operate, but at the same time, there are a lot of restaurants like this where
Standalones.
Yeah, standalones. They are owned by owners, or by 3-4 people like that.
Correct.
So maybe when you do such a things, you are not so familiar with the protocols and everything, and that's why it might be a thing.
No, so see, so now also, see, now this is what has happened. Earlier, a lot of us used to open restaurants, and there were few of us. Everybody was not opening restaurants. Now everybody is coming into restaurants. So those who have garnered a lot of experience over the years are now getting into this format. They are opening more restaurants. They are clubbing. They are making systems. They are forming a company. They are forming a brand, and then they will open more of these restaurants. So that's the difference now between somebody who's experienced into this for a long time, and they will open more and more restaurants, just like you were mentioning. And the difference between anybody and everybody who's entering into this restaurant. तो वो एक दो standalone अभी वो ऐसे लोग बहुत सारे रहेंगे जो standalone restaurants खोलेंगे, and जो पहले के players हैं, I think will go into clubbing their formats, and they will open more and more of their brand. They will take the brand forward. I feel so.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're seeing that happening now.
Not so sure about it. I haven't in 3 days I haven't taken a round around Pune. I was just doing my works and meeting people.
Over these number of years that I've been in Pune, I've seen so many restaurateurs now. I have opened a few. It's unfortunate that many of them also had to close, but I'm seeing so many of them now branching out into opening more restaurants, and specifically of the same brand. Now it's very difficult for me to replicate an 11 Street cafe because it's a complex restaurant. But the idea is to now open a brand that is easily that we can replicate, and we can make a brand out of it. So we can open 1 and then 2 and then 10, so on.
It's hard though. The way easily he said that, it's hard though.
Of course it's hard.
I have got complaints from a lot of my hospitality counterparts that these IT guys don't understand. They earn big, and they think that they can just put in money and everything works. It's not like that.
It's not. Because you also have to be prepared that if you are getting into that 1 to 2 to 10, out of 10, there'll probably be 2 or 3 which are just leaking.
They're
going to flunk. They're going to be a dent on your bottom line. They're going to be taking your money away. But then,
does this 80-20 principle, the 80-20 principle, so does it apply in this as well?
I think it does. Of course it does.
So 20% restaurants are giving out your 80% of your revenue.
Yes, very possible.
Okay, so now let's come to this where you said कि अपना कुछ करते हैं. How did that came in? You were starting from 2020 thing.
हाँ, अपना तो ये भी था, but this is a family owned business now. My father and my mother and everybody is involved in this restaurant, not just financially, but even we all work together also. We have different roles to fulfill here, but financially we had to do something of our own for various reasons, and one of the primary reasons being is that COVID के बाद अभी we knew that restaurants will bounce back, but it'll take a while for people to start coming back to restaurants and build their faith of going to a restaurant and dining. You don't open with a bang. That it did open with a bang, but that painful tenure was just for a short while, and then restaurants, fortunately, restaurant like mine who have been around for a long time have people's faith. They know कि यहाँ जाएंगे, यहाँ we are taken care of, food अच्छा है, safe है, hygienic है. So such restaurants, I think, immediately saw people coming back. Other restaurants must have found it a little difficult. But we knew that this we will need more of revenue now to take care of a few family members. So it only became imperative that we should do something that brings in more revenue. And so eating out of the same pie did not make sense. So my wife and I decided that we should branch out and do something of our own. Also, बहुत कंफर्टेबल हो गया था अभी नाउ सिटिंग एंड ओनिंग अ रेस्टोरेंट. एक रेस्टोरेंट चल रहा है, उससे पैसा आ रहा है, थोड़ा कंफर्टेबल हो गया था. आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू साउंड कूल और आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू साउंड बुकिश ऑनेस्टली, बट इट वाज थोड़ा सा रिक्वायर्ड टू गेट आउट ऑफ बोर्डम. सो वी थॉट कुछ नया खोलते हैं, कुछ ऐसा अलग करते हैं. सो आई टोल्ड यू दैट we were very enamored by going abroad and seeing a couple opening a restaurant and they're managing things themselves. That's exactly what Two Mad Cooks then became. We opened a small, very small cafe.
You're explaining about Two Mad Cooks.
Yeah,
no?
we opened a small cafe in NIBM, and we would make our own. I mean, we would literally dispense the coffee ourselves. We would make the food ourselves, sandwiches, basic food, but really good food. So we would start doing the food ourselves. We were literally serving it ourselves, cleaning the table also ourselves, and I'm proud of it. We were doing this.
No, but I personally feel now I have no experience of Indian hospitality, but since I have worked in UK and everything, it feels fun.
Yeah, it's great. So it was great. People were very receptive. NIBM as an area is very like that. बहुत सारे ऐसे owners हैं जो खुद चला रहे हैं restaurant अपना खुद से small cute cafes are there and you go and can spend the day there having good food, AC, Wi-Fi, music, etc. So we also wanted to open such a small cafe and we did it. And then the second wave of COVID came is when we had to shut down the business. Shut the business temporarily. And then we were allowed to open it back after the second wave. So when the second wave happened is when people were comfortable in meeting in each other's houses. Should I continue?
Yeah.
People were comfortable in meeting in each other's houses. तब तक ये वो protocol, safety, वो सब अकेले रहना खत्म हो गया था. People were now going to each other's houses after the second wave. Then they were calling our food at home and bulk orders हो रहे थे. And then they started saying that, will you cater? There are 20 of us, 25 of us. Will you do caterings for us? And then we started doing a lot of caterings. And then caterings became so big and so substantial that then it wasn't financially making sense to continue running a cafe. It was drawing our attention
to catering.
Yeah, it was taking away our attention and focus from catering to running a small cafe where the top line or where the sale of the day is going to be very little compared to what a catering does for you. So it wasn't making financial sense. So we then shut down Two Mad Cooks as a cafe and it evolved into a catering brand. And today Two Mad Cooks fortunately is a very reputed, I would say, sought after catering brand. A lot of people now.
What do you say chefs in Hindi? क्या बोलते हैं उसको?
बावर्ची.
हाँ,
दो पगले
बावर्ची. Yeah. So now just into the business aspect and some technical aspects already I want to ask. Now I wanted to majorly know this, all right, that we're running, of course my mother and I were talking about this catering thing, how she can start and stuff like that. How is it different, or how does the catering dynamics work differently than operating a restaurant, cafe, or anything for that matter?
A restaurant, of course, a very different business from a catering business, but most importantly, it's a mindset game. It's a different mindset only. As a restaurant, you need to be more focused on the bottom line. Okay, so every small expense matters. Overheads बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं. Okay, so and every small mistake is catapulted into is compounded into big mistakes. So you need to have a very keen eye over there. Small things matter.
Oh, in catering?
In restaurants. In catering is very different. Okay. It's that one day game. If you need to spend more, if there are some extra expenses happening, it's okay. You got to overlook it. So that's why I said there are two different mindsets. Literally two different minds have to operate these two different businesses. Okay, like for example, there's a major difference between my manager in the restaurant and between my manager in a catering. My manager is going to be tight in the restaurant. He's going to be having lesser expenses to do.
Okay.
Control रहेगा उसका हाथ. My manager in the catering very liberal because the problem has to be solved there and then. There are very few systems that will protect you. कुछ भी कभी भी हो सकता है. Suddenly something will fall short. You know, the guest has said कि मेरे सर 50 लोग आने वाले हैं. Okay. They've been told कि 50 से इतना ही ऊपर हम cater करेंगे etc. But 50 की जगह 80 लोग आ गए. अब आप क्या करोगे? Restaurant में आप बोल सकते हो. You can say we will not take more tables.
We are not serving.
Done. We are not serving. We are full, and whatever you have, you're going to operate. It's going to be fantastic. How many things will go wrong? In a catering now, their guests have come.
बैठे हैं.
तो जिसने catering दी है, वो already थोड़ा सा तकलीफ में है कि मैंने कम बोल दिया.
और एक second, catering we are talking about tiffin providing or like giving service?
No, tiffin providing. No, I don't know tiffin providing. I'm talking about catering.
Okay.
When you're looking parties, when you're doing social functions,
social events.
You're inviting people, and your 100 people are coming. For example, you're getting married, and your 100 people are invited, and you have told me 110 लोग ही आएंगे, और आ जाते हैं 150 लोग. पीपल लव यू टू मच। अब अभी हम क्या करें, हमने क्लियर बोला कि हम इतने लोग को ही केटर कर पाएंगे, लेकिन 150 लोग आ गए हैं। अब आपके जैसे भी दो टाइप के लोग होते हैं, एक जो सॉरी बोल देंगे कि हाँ यार मैंने ज्यादा लोग बुला लिया, सॉरी जोरावर, विल यू मैनेज, कर लोगे आप मैनेज यार, सॉरी मैं आपको तकलीफ हो रही है। और कोई उल्टे दिमाग के होते हैं कि तुम्हारा काम है मैनेज करना, बॉस आगे तो आ गए अभी करो। So but at that point of time you can't argue, you can't fight,
No,
you
because
can't,
you are in the battlefield
you are
there.
right now and you're in the battlefield. So now
Yeah.
that's what I'm telling you, वहाँ का manager has to take decisions
हाँ.
which involve spending liberally.
Yeah.
कि तुमको अगर लिटरली जो चीज तुम्हारे किचन में 10 रुपए की पड़ रही है, अगर उस टाइम पे उस चीज पे 100 रुपए खर्च करना है, सेम थिंग तो खर्च करो, क्योंकि वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है तुमको। क्योंकि वो 90 रुपए तुम ज्यादा खर्च कर रहे हो, बट तुम्हारी बिलिंग हो सकती है 90,000 की, 5 लाख की, 10 लाख की, क्या करोगे तुम? तो दैट डजंट मैटर एट दैट पॉइंट, money becomes a very small
But
thing.
so in your experience, it's like if anything is costing you, or if you need to fix something in catering, you need
at
to
any
do
cost,
that. Yeah.
at any cost, because and again in a restaurant, suppose you're serving 80 covers, so 80 covers and फर्ज करो हर टेबल पे 4 कवर है, तो those many tables you're looking into. In a catering you're serving 80 guests, but the person who's paying you is one. In your case you're paying me, so I need to also first satisfy you, because you are the first person who's going to come and pay me, and I need to take care of your 80 guests because they are going to come and give you feedback.
Okay.
बट मैं हर एक को इंडिविजुअली संभालने बैठूंगा तो बहुत मुश्किल होगा। आपको पहले मेरे को संभालने की बताऊं क्या क्या करूं इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे। अभी हो गया जो हो गया, अब आपके लोग ज्यादा आ गए हैं, नाउ व्हाट आर वी सपोज्ड टू डू। ये तो चलो लोग, ये तो मैं दिखा रहा हूँ फ्रॉम अ पर्सपेक्टिव जहाँ आपकी तरफ से ज्यादा लोग आ गए। कभी कभी हमारे यहाँ भी इश्यूज होते हैं, सडनली वन आइटम इज फॉरगॉटन, वो नहीं है तुम्हारे पास मेन्यू, शेफ बनाना भूल गया है, शेफ बीमार पड़ गया, कुछ भी हो सकता है।
अब वो सब
वो सब चीजों को भी उस टाइम पे अरेंज करो, कुछ भी कभी भी हो सकता है। and we are also at certain times or certain things dealing with certain outsourced agencies also, वो small things, vendors। अभी एक केटरिंग पे नहीं आया मेरा एक वेंडर ही नहीं आया। केटरिंग इज इन 1 hour and you have committed this particular thing to the client, and for an issue which you don't know, नहीं अभी वो कल मालूम पड़ेगा क्यों नहीं आया, वो क्यों नहीं उठा पा रहा है अपना फोन, उसके घर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है या मेरे मैनेजर के साथ कुछ फाइट हो गया, वी हैव नो आइडिया, वो तो कल मालूम पड़ेगा। एज ऑफ नाउ व्हाट मैटर्स इज in 1 hour this kick off, arrange somebody else immediately. So now, because with every catering, with every event you learn, so now you know यार एक से नहीं दो का बैकअप रख के चलो, तो दूसरा बंदा भी तुम्हारे बैकअप कॉल पे होना चाहिए। फिर तुम थोड़ा प्ले करोगे उन, you'll divide your responsibilities and roles to certain vendors also, you know कि दोनों वेंडर तुम्हारे पास रहे। तो ऐसा कर करके you will learn, but it's a very different game, it's a very different mindset as I told you। एंड रेस्टोरेंट जैसे बता रहा था, सेट है सिस्टम से, सब सिस्टम के अनुसार रेस्टोरेंट खुलेगा, म्यूजिक प्ले होगा, वो अपना साइज स्टेशन सेट करेंगे, मीजा सेट करेंगे, चेकलिस्ट के हिसाब से ऑपरेट करेंगे। गेस्ट आएगा, तुम बैठाओगे, खिलाओगे, जो नॉट अवेलेबल है बोल दोगे, जो अवेलेबल है मस्त खिला के बना के बिल दे के आउट, रिव्यू, थैंक यू वेरी मच, पेमेंट डन। this will continue through the day unless any issues happen। in a catering anything, any minute, any second can go wrong, so it's a lot of stress, it's very hyper, but it's very rewarding, very rewarding, because वो रेस्टोरेंट तुम्हारा चल रहा है और रेस्टोरेंट ने वो x amount of सेल करनी है at the end of the day, and you're either like shit यार कम हो गया, और like great अच्छा हो गया। in a catering is very different, that billing can be of another level, the references that come from that catering can be phenomenal। you don't know who you're catering to, because you don't know every guest, that one person, तुम्हारे लिए मैं केटरिंग कर रहा हूँ ₹1,00,000 की, योर माई गेस्ट, तुमने बुला दिया किसी को जो बिल्डर है, उसने अपना बहुत बड़ा बिल्डिंग लॉन्च करना है, उसने हमको दे दिया 10 लाख का बिजनेस, उसके प्रोजेक्ट में एक बंदा आ गया जिसने 1000 लोग की शादी करनी है, उसकी बिलिंग होगी 20 लाख की। तो जो स्टार्ट हुआ है आपके ₹1,00,000 की बिलिंग से, आप ही के फंक्शन पे एक बंदा है जिसने 10 लाख की बिलिंग दी, उसी के फंक्शन पे आया जिसने 20 लाख की बिलिंग दी, मैं टॉक अबाउट 31 lakhs फॉर एग्जांपल, from an example point of view, this is the sort of revenue talking of, can go, and this can go into much higher numbers also। so that's very rewarding, and it's that one day, one event, आपका एक इवेंट संभालना है मुझे ₹1,00,000 का, then I'm done, then my next challenge happens when the next event is, which can be the next day, same day, nowadays with God's blessing. On certain days, we are doing more than one event also together. Parallelly, there are
Oh,
two
you
or
are
three.
able to manage it now.
Yes, of
Nice.
course. So now there are 2 or 3 functions also running together parallelly, which is great.
Under two
Under
mat
2 mat
cooks
cooks, yeah, and we don't need to be there for each and every one personally.
Okay, great.
But principally, Priyanka and I have made it a point कि if possible, then one of us will definitely go and attend the function, even if for a few minutes, to tell hi to the guest, to see the sort of setting we are catering to see if our setup is good, matching up to the customer and client satisfaction. And then, if need be, we'll stay there. If not, if everything seems absolutely कि हमारी ज़रूरत है ही नहीं यहाँ पे, in fact, we are going to be a hindrance, then we go away from the site.
Two questions out of this, all right. How did you how was it, as you told me? So now if you're doing a 10 lakhs ka order, whatever, and going to example again 50 or 1 crore, or so that's a difference, right?
Yeah.
Where it may be you might be serving 30-50 guests over here, and
Yeah.
you're serving 200.
Correct.
How did you initially learn to handle this big change happening? What was your how was your experience in gaining or leveling up in that?
अभी भी ऐसा हो रहा है, अभी भी इस हफ्ते में भी ऐसा है that at a certain place we'll be catering for only 50 people, and on that same day we are catering to about 500 people into 4, because each day there are going to be 500 people, rather more, it's 1000 people per day into 4. So now as a as a businessman, I can take a call to not take the small event. Okay. और आई कैन टेक अ कॉल कि ये मेरे को स्मॉल इवेंट पे ध्यान देना है, ये बड़े इवेंट मेरे को नहीं चाहिए, ये बहुत बड़ा हेडेक है, इसमें पैसा कम बनने वाला है, एनी wherever whichever thing I fit into. So that's a call we will take on that. I mean, before that, कि करना है कि नहीं करना है. So Priyanka and I usually discuss this. We see what we can take on, and then we do take on, and what we feel that कि this will go out of our hands. ये हमारे reach के beyond हो जाएगा. अगर हमने we will take up more than what we can serve, then we say a flat no. And sometimes we repent it. Sometimes we are like
अपने challenges और limits को push करते हैं.
हाँ, sometimes we repented कि यार और ले सकते थे, हमको ऐसा लगा कि इसमें challenges होंगे, लेकिन तो बहुत easy हो गए दोनों function, वो भी ले सकते थे. But it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, true.
और ये हमारे केस में fortunately आज तक ऐसा नहीं हुआ है कि हमने ले ली है 2-3 फंक्शन और किसी एक में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है क्योंकि हमने ज्यादा ले लिया, बिकॉज फॉर्चुनेटली हम उतना लेते हैं जितना हैंडल कर सके और सब कुछ हैंडल हो जाता है.
गाड़ी भागती है इसलिए भगाने का.
हाँ बस. हाँ. So we take up what we can. We push ourselves. Very often we push ourselves to always take up little bit more than what is comfortable. But it's always played well. I mean, thankfully, it's all been well. Yeah.
One bizarre catering order which you had dealt with.
No, not bizarre, but just 2 weeks ago, in the first week of first 2 days of March, we got a call from a very prominent builder saying that we need to do a sit down dinner for somebody, for their guests, for their buyers the next day. And we were given less than 24 hours to do that. I mean, the meeting happened only at about 6-7 p.m. that day. And the next day, 6 p.m., we were already supposed to be serving the guest. So we had precisely, I mean, even lesser than 24 hours to do that. And it was a sit-down dinner for about 100 people. Now, this is not easy, catering to do a sit-down for 100 people on 24-hour notice is not easy. थोड़े दिन की planning लगती है. You need to get so many things in place, your crockery, cutlery, and it's a sit-down, which means it needs to be fancy. Their details are also that it needs to be very, very fancy because they're a buyer of their flat. Each flat is costing about, I think, 3 or 4 crores. So each person who's sitting on that table, there were 18 or 19 or maybe 20 such tables, each person is a guest to them worth 4 crores. So they are like,
and you're serving the one thing which gets to your heart.
Correct. And we cannot, and nothing can be subpar because there's a dinner to say thank you to them. आपने हमसे एक flat लिया, thank you so much and enjoy this evening. So nothing can go wrong, and food is playing a very important role here.
Of course.
And they gave me everything. They said you handle the food, you handle the bar. So that becomes challenging. But as I told you, every catering is a learning experience. And we believe in pushing ourselves, so we did it. It was fantastic, and it was like watching an orchestra in front of you with the way the catering was happening. So these things are very rewarding. You go back home feeling very happy. This is the feeling you don't get as a restaurateur, because you don't get to do new things every day. You don't get to do new things every day. This is new. you're literally seeing something जो तुमको नहीं आता तुम कर सकते हो लेकिन कर रहे हो तो मजा आ रहा है देख के वो.
Okay. With two, so do Mad Cooks is everything about catering and everything, that's it.
Yeah, everything related to catering and also consulting now. Because we've had I have an experience of 17 years in this industry. So now it's time to
Apna gyan
share
baantne ka.
gyan baantne ka. It just sounds bad, but yeah,
No,
it's
no,
time.
it's the way I have put it, but consulting is, I would say, in one sense important. You have got the privilege, I would say, ki bhai, you have got 3-4 people in your house to do consulting for you.
Correct.
Not everyone gets that.
Correct.
So at times, people, a lot of consulting people who I know in hospitality, at times they do really good work where actually you can save your 4 crores loss for no reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's advisable because just right now, I mean, a few months ago, we launched a restaurant for somebody, and he was very clear that he wants to open a restaurant and he only wants to open it via us. Like he wants to get us on board to open the restaurant for him. And trust me, because I'm into consulting does not mean that I feel like चलो एक और रेस्टोरेंट मिल गया और इन वेरी क्रूड वर्ड्स एक बकरा और मिल गया वैसा बिल्कुल मेंटालिटी नहीं है. Because he was a friend and my first thing to him was that listen, do you really want to do this? I mean, do you really want to get into restaurants per se? Why are you getting into it? He said, no, I want to. I said, but you don't need to. There are so many more businesses that we can talk about and do which fit your profile more or fit your need more. क्यों कर रहा है? कहते हैं नहीं, मुझे रेस्टोरेंट ही खोलना है और तू ही खोलेगा. तो फिर then your job is now to open a successful restaurant, to do something good for him and to see wherever his money can be saved or utilized properly. And we opened a very good restaurant. It's called Bramble. You must go and check it out.
Sure. What is Bramble about?
It's in Amanora Mall. It's a restaurant and bar. It's very good. You must go and check out that restaurant. We've done some really, really good food, Priyanka and I. We've got a great cocktail menu happening there. I was overhearing you now. You said you were into cocktails. You should go and try the cocktails at Bramble. We've done a very good cocktail program. Very good restaurant. I'm very proud of it. What Priyanka and I did.
Okay. So one quick thing about consulting. How quick in India? How quick do restaurants start making revenue or money once you put in money? Just
firstly, it depends on how much money you've put into your restaurant.
What's your tentative period probably?
See,
because in UK, what I have heard, 3-4 months are enough to like they let the restaurant start revenue again.
Yeah, I mean, I think 6 months is a good enough time for your restaurant to start delivering a profit. At least to you. Firstly, you can deliver a profit in first month also nowadays.
Not easy though.
Not easy, but you can deliver a profit from the first month itself if you're in a good location. Rather on day one, if you're in a good location, prominent, your marketing has been strong enough, then you will open with a bang and you will open with a profit on day one. And if you got the overheads under control, but I think the time which you will start seeing money, that you will take back money at home or money for reinvesting into another business will happen after a while and will happen dependent on how much you invested. So in the case of Two Mad Cooks, for example, I can tell you when we opened a cafe, I had paid back my entire capital about 6 months. मैंने जितना भी पैसा लगाया था Two Mad Cooks में, in 6 months that money was back into my account and I was on a plus from there on. But in a restaurant where you're investing about 2 crores, this can take about 3 years. Okay. 2 years, 3 years for you to get your money back.
And funny question which I had was, two things. Do you still love cooking? Yes or no?
I love cooking.
Okay. Do you still love cooking for your wife?
I love cooking for my wife. She may not be the happiest when that happens, but I love cooking for my wife, for my family rather, I would say.
Okay. And one major thing was, if this would not have been hospitality, what would have been if not hospitality?
If not hospitality, what would I be doing? I'd be doing something related to films.
Films. Okay.
Yeah. I'd either be doing something with the film industry, either writing or something, or I'd be writing.
Oh, because you had that your father was doing the vanity.
No, not because of that. I have been a movie buff since childhood. There are only two things that I've been very, very fond of. One is restaurants, food, and the other thing is movies. That's the only, and reading. Okay. So I would either.
I can see.
Thank you. So I would either be, if not hospitality, I'd either be writing for films or making films, or I'd be writing a book or books.
Okay. Yeah. So what would you stick to amongst all of this plan which you went, sports bar, finding? Of course, I can now sense that it would have been Zora. fine dining.
Yeah.
But what would I still would like to ask, what would you have been stick to in all of this which you did from
Today,
dhaba to everything?
today what I want to do
Hmm.
is, I mean, the dhaba was Timlak and that's very successful, but that's just like any other restaurant and bar.
Hmm.
Like 11 Street Cafe is a London themed restaurant. Timlak is a dhaba which is now run by my uncle. And Crazy Balls is also a restaurant and bar with a theme
Crazy what?
towards Crazy Balls,
Okay, crazy.
with a theme towards sports and
एक
pool
रेस्टोरेंट ये
table.
नाम से भी खोल लो, balls of steel.
हाँ चलो अच्छी बात है. But what today I think makes sense is to grow your brand and to launch firstly a brand that is easily replicable, that you can open more of. So if you have to ask me what I would choose amongst all of these, then I would choose none and maybe open a new brand which I can open multiples of
Okay.
fast and which
quick
scalable, which require lesser money to start and which immediately help you
sustain and grow
and get your money back. First get your money back and then it's very easy to open another one.
Okay.
That's what I would ideally, if that's my next plan.
Okay, that's your next plan.
Yeah, that's what I would want to
next
do.
question as well. But the thing I wanted to ask, what are your plans with Two Mad Cooks or such like?
Two Mad Cooks has to become one of the most known catering firms
just
in the country.
An interesting thing, good, just I'll let you go ahead. One interesting thing which I would like to point out over here is Two Mad Cooks is running still on references only.
Only. We don't even have a website. I'm ashamed to say that, but we don't even have.
You will get this on Instagram when you put it. Yeah,
we don't even have a website. I am terrible into technology, so I don't know how to utilize this online sphere very well. I'm not good at it. So my Instagram game,
and still you're doing well. That is a
thankfully
that is a good thing.
My Instagram game is not good with Two Man Cooks. We are not regular with our posting and stories and so on and so forth. We don't have a website. I don't know how to use LinkedIn. I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I've got so many friends to tell me that I'm telling them to remove a few hours and counsel me and guide me on. I've taken a workshop or two also, so I'm going to get this going, but I don't even know how to utilize it so well, and I'm quite embarrassed of it. But I'm proud of the fact that without using so many of these mediums, Two Mad Cooks has done very well for itself as a catering firm. A long way to go for consulting, and I think that's what will happen with LinkedIn and all. But from a catering perspective, it has grown very well. And as I told you some time ago, that catering is a very personal game. So it matters. The name of the person who's running the catering firm matters a lot. So they will very rarely say, "I'm booking Two Mad Cooks." They will very often say that I'm booking Jorravar or I'm booking Priyanka for a catering. It's got some sort of appeal to mention that this person is doing my event or is taking care of this function for us. So in that aspect, it helps a lot. And we've very quickly gotten into the right places. So getting great references.
Well done,
yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. I personally feel we haven't went to a bit of depth. It's fine, not a big deal. And that's I would say that if you have any questions, if you want to ask something, not the consultancy part, we charge you for that. But the thing is that anything which you feel I might have left or you wanted to ask Jorravar, please put it in comments. I'll make sure that Jorravar answers those questions.
I would love to.
And let's see what more we can get out of him from those points. You can maybe want to tag Priyanka as well. I know she's not over here. Say hi from my side to her.
I will.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Catering is something I am fascinated about as well.
We'll do a separate talk only on
sure. I'll try. And thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling your side. How does it work? Thank you for any of your inputs.
Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for coming in as well.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Done?